Hey, what's up? This is Ace, and welcome to another one of my Mugen character creation tutorials. It's been a while since I've done this, so hopefully this turns out okay. So, in today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to add some more effects onto your character. So, what you are going to need to do first is you are going to need to make sure that your character has a common one CNS file. So, open up your character file. I am going to be working on Venom, so I'm going to open up Venom right now. He already has a common one CNS file, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to delete it. You're also going to need to open up your Mugen file, so I opened mine up right here, and you're going to need to click on the data file. Once you click on your data file, like I just did, you're going to need to find the common one .cns file, which is this right here. Once you find it, just right click it, copy it, and then paste it into your character file. Just like that. Now once you do that, you can exit out of both of these files and open up your character in Mugen. Now once you open up your character and you go into the CNS file, you will see venom.cns, or specifically you'll see your character's name.cns, and to the right of it you'll see common1.cns. And the common1.cns is just like it says, the common state file. These are the states that are common throughout pretty much all Mugen characters. It has the standing states, the crouching states, the getting hit states, the guarding states, and pretty much all the common stuff. So what I'll be showing you specifically is how to add some effects to the walking animations, which is pretty easy, and this could be applied to pretty much any other states as well. So you could take what you'll learn in this video and apply it to adding some more effects to an attack or into a special move or something like that. Alright, so anyways, the first thing you're going to need to do is import a group of effect sprites. So I'm going to go to my sprite file, I'm going to go all the way to the end, and I'm going to look for a good effect sprite for my walking sprite. I don't have any, so I'm going to add some. So I'm going to go to PCX, and I'm going to name the group 1003. And I'm going to go to the random Mugen effects file that I showed you in the previous video, and I'm going to go to the run sprites. So here we go. I'm going to get all of these sprites right here, and I am going to align them to the center and auto crop it, and I'm going to click OK. Alright, 9 new sprites were added. Now once I did that, I'm going to need to go to the animation file and make an animation for this effect. So to make it easy on me, I'm going to go to the walking animation, this walking forward animation, and I'm going to click this plus sign to create a new animation, and I'm going to name this animation, I'm going to name it dash FX, and I'm going to make the animation number 10,003. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go to this sprite. I'm going to go to this group of sprites. I'm going to add them to this animation. I'm going to get rid of the first frame, and I'm going to make the time 1. I'm going to apply that to all of the frames. I'm going to put a capital A where the transparency is, and I'm going to apply that to all of the frames as well. And now we are ready to add this effect to the walking animation. So let's go to the CNS file. And now let's go to the common1.cns, and let's look for the walking state, which is state def 20. If you're having difficulty locating the state, you could always go right here and double click on the 20, just like that. Now go to the end of the state def or whatever, where you see this change anim, and you're going to need to add some space. And for this effect, I'm going to be using an Explod. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but you know, it's pretty much Explode without an E. So, you know, you're going to need to go to the right and double click on Explode. And once you do that, you can get rid of all of these gray lines on the bottom. And there you go. And this is the block of code that I use for most of the effects on my characters. It's pretty simple to use. It's really straightforward. And without any further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna name this block of code dash fx. Now it doesn't really matter what you name it. You could literally have no name right here. It doesn't really matter, but it's always nice to stay organized. You know, you could even add a semicolon right here. That's not a semicolon. There we go. And then add a bunch of lines like this to create, you know, a little partition right here to make it more organized for the effects and stuff. So yeah, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start filling out these 3 lines of code: the trigger one, the anim, and the ID. For the anim, I'm gonna make that equal to the animation number that we put right here. I put 10,003, so for the anim equals, it's gonna be equals 10,003. And for the ID, I'm not quite sure specifically what the ID does, but usually I just put the same number that I put for the animation right here. So I'm gonna put 10,003 again. Alright, so that's pretty cool. For the trigger for this certain effect, you know, you could put time equals 0, you could put anim ELEM for a specific frame, but for this specific effect, I'm going to be using a time mod. Now for the time mod, I don't know specifically, you know, exactly 100% how it works, but I pretty much have a basic grasp as to how it works. And what I'm going to be putting is a 7, 0. So trigger 1 equals time mod equals 7, 0. This is stating that every 7 ticks, so like after every, you know, 7 units of time, this effect will play over again. So yeah, so we could already see how this looks by running it in Mugen. It looks super duper weird, as you could clearly see, but we could fix that by looking at the scale. It was way too big, so I'm going to change the scale to 0.4 on both sides, on the X value and the Y value. And now let me see how it looks. Alright, so it looks like it's a decent size now. I'm going to make the X value for the scale a little bit smaller, and I'm going to bring up the position a little bit higher by adding a negative value for the Y value. And remember, for the position, the first number is the X value and the second number is the Y value. So just remember, you know, how it would look on a graph, you know. So yeah, so let's check it out right now. Alright, it's looking a little bit better. I'm gonna put it up a little bit higher, so -20, and I'm gonna put it back by -30. Alright, so when he's walking forward, it's looking pretty cool, you know, nothing too special. But when he walks back, it looks ridiculously not right. You know what I mean? It just does not look good at all. So in order to fix this, I'm going to go right here to where it says type equals explode. I'm going to click enter to make some room, and right above trigger 1 I'm going to type in trigger all. And I'm going to click equals, and I'm going to put vel as in velocity, x as in, the x-axis, and greater than 0. So what this is saying is that when the velocity of character 1, when the x velocity is greater than 0, and during every 7 tick, this effect will appear. So let's see what happens. So when I go back, the animation disappears because it's not coded to appear while you're holding back like this, when your character is traveling less than 0 on the x-axis. So yeah, and then now in order to have it appear when you go backwards too, you just copy this and paste it right down below, and instead of having trigger all equals velocity x greater than 0, you have it less than 0. And I'm going to change the position to 30 so that it looks like, or you know what, as a matter of fact, I could do something else. I could keep the position and I could change the direction in which it's facing. I can make it a -1 so that it faces in the opposite direction, and let's see how this looks. Actually, that did not work out at all, but it was worth a try. I'm gonna make the position 30, -20 for the velocity x is less than 0. It looks a lot better, It's not too bad. I've seen worse, and that's basically how you add an effect to the walking animation. I'm gonna change it a little bit. I'm gonna scale it down a little bit on the x-axis. So I'm gonna just make it a 0.3. Or you know what? I'm gonna make it a 0.25 on the x-axis of the scale for both when Venom's walking backwards and forwards. And I'm gonna make it the position 25 and -25. And I'm gonna check out what happens. Alright, I'm gonna make it 15 instead of 25. I'm gonna make it -15 and 15. Alright, it looks a lot better than it did before. There are a couple things that I need to change as well. So let me just kind of explain everything here. So the type equals, explode, the trigger all, I went over that. Trigger 1, I went over that. POS stands for position. The position type equals P1. You can make it P2 to have the positioning relative to where the second player is at, which is pretty cool. Facing has to do with the direction in which this animation is facing. So it'll be facing normal if it's 1, but if it's -1, then it'll be facing in the opposite direction. V facing stands for vertical facing. The bind time stands for how long is this animation going to be bind to your character. You could put -1 so that it's indefinitely binded to your character. I should have changed that. Let's see how it looks now that I changed it. See, it looks a lot different, but it's stuck on Venom now. So let me make the position different. Let me make it 30 and 30. It looks a lot better now, a lot more fluid. Alright, so if you're doing a walking animation or if you want there to be an effect on a certain animation and you want the effect to bind to your character, make sure that the bind time equals -1 so that it's always binded to your character or bound to your character. VEL stands for velocity, like up here, so you could change the velocity at which your animation is traveling. And SL stands for acceleration. Random, I don't ever use this. I honestly don't know how to fully use this to make it look cool or anything, so yeah. Remove time stands for how long your animation is going to be there for. So -2 is the default, and -2 means that it's going to play through the entire animation of your effect, but you could also change it to like a 10 or something like that if you want it to be more specific. It doesn't really matter. Pause move time is for your pauses. Scale is for the size of your animation. Sprite priority has to do with the layering of sprites. On top equals 0 means that this animation isn't going to be on top of your character. You can make it a 1 in order to have the effect on top of your character. Shadow, you could change these values to have a different colored shadow. Own pal stands for own palette. So if you have this palette effect on your character, or if your opponent has a palette effect on your character or the background or something like that, if you have this effect, if you have an effect where the own pal equals 1, then that means that the effect wouldn't be affected by any other palette. So yeah. Remove on get hit means that once your character gets hit, the effect will be removed. So I'm going to mark that as a 1 because I actually want that. And I'm going to do the same for down here. And yeah, that's pretty much it about the Explod. You could, use different triggers for, your effects. You can make time equals 0 or something like that. That's, the trigger that I use most often is time equals 0 when it comes to effects. The only time I use the time mod is for like a walking animation or a running animation or something like that. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Hopefully that helped you a little bit. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. On Wednesday, I'll be posting a preview of Hisoka. I haven't really had a chance to work on him lately, but I've been doing a little bit here and there. I've just been so busy lately, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be uploading more videos more often. I'm going to at least try to. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, be sure to have an amazing day. Thanks for watching.